back to my channel. If you are brand new here, welcome. I'm Bonnie, Old Soul Mermaid. Well, we are heading towards the end of April as I am filming this on April 24th. I'm not sure when I'm going to post this, but as of now, we are closely heading into May. A couple of videos back, I discussed that when I started my YouTube channel, I kind of let a few things fall by the wayside. And one of the things that kind of fell by the wayside was my hobby of sewing. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, I find that I'm just not as good as multitasking as I used to be, or maybe it's because I just don't have to, so I can luxuriate and just focus on one or two things at the same time. But during the lockdowns of the past 2 years, I started a YouTube channel, and because I'm not very tech savvy, that took a lot of my attention, but also because I was discovering a new passion of tarot. So I kind of scooted my sewing to the side. It sat on the sidelines, and it's kind of funny because this is the time, during lockdown when many were picking up a new hobby, baking sourdough bread, learning how to sew, doing other artistic projects. Now, to make a long story short, I started sewing in 2016 for a myriad of reasons. I have worked retail for many years, and I started learning more in depth about the ins and outs of the fashion industry and how wasteful and how detrimental it is to our planet and to the environment. And around that time, I had read a book called Overdressed by Elizabeth Klein. And in that same time, I also saw the documentary, The True Cost, which I think you can still see on Netflix, or you can see it with ads on YouTube if you do a search. And both of those things, reading Overdressed and seeing The True Cost, was kind of a come to Jesus moment. And I started examining more closely my consumption habits, predominantly in my wardrobe and my spending habits for clothing. Now, because I worked for various major retailers, I had some very good discounts. And so I was able to justify buying that new pair of jeans, that new top, for 50, 60% of the retail cost. So I had tubs and tubs of clothes that I had in my garage. I had to divide my wardrobe up seasonally and put my jackets and sweaters in tubs during the summertime and then switch it out and, do that from season to season. And needless to say, it got to be too much. And I have pretty much since I've been in Texas these past 16 years, I've had, good sized closets. So there was really no reason for that. So I took a few in-person classes in Austin that were held at some independent fabric shops. I watched YouTube videos, I bought some books, and therein started my journey, slowly starting to learn to sew. So around the time of the lockdowns, when I was starting my YouTube channel, I had really hit a plateau with my sewing. Basically, because the way my brain is wired, I don't understand sewing directions very easily. I am so much more a visual learner. And sometimes if it really isn't spelled out for me, or if I can't see it in my brain, the text that I'm reading in an instruction booklet, the booklet might as well be written in a foreign language to me, even though it's written in English. I really hit a plateau because of fear. Fear of messing up, fear of failing, fear of wasting money, perfectly good fabric, and having something not turned out. So fear kind of kept me at this certain level where I knew certain patterns and certain projects were within my skill set, but I never progressed. So until now, the hardest item of clothing, or the most difficult item of clothing that I completed successfully, was a pair of jeans. Now I'm going to link a video that I did a while ago. And it's a video where I took Ethany's Bad Bitches Tarot and I took the fashion in it and I showed you patterns that corresponded with the images that are depicted in her deck. And at the end of that video, I showed a bunch of my makes. So I'll link that below if you're interested in seeing kind of some of the clothing articles that I have made. For 2022, I made the goal that I wanted to up my sewing game and do some projects, items of clothing that I love and I really want in my wardrobe. I want to learn how to do them myself. These are projects that scare me and that are going to challenge my brain, my skill set. So the first of which is a blazer. I picked this blazer by an independent pattern company, Friday Patterns. See if can you see it right here? Hope you can see it. And it's an unstructured, loose but lined blazer. Now, because it's kind of a loose fit and unstructured, there's no shoulder pads, there's no darts, there's not this kind of couture fitting dynamic going on here. It's just a casual blazer. I figured this would be a great one to start with and kind of push me towards something a little bit more complicated, but you know, kind of like baby steps to get me to where I want to be. This is also a great pattern if you're a sewist and you're kind of like in the same place where I am. This independent pattern company is great for its size inclusivity, and I'm not being sponsored or anything. I'm just relaying some information. So it runs from an extra small to a 7X, and you can see, and this is really great that they have different body types depicting, you know, what the blazer will look like on different body types at kind of the different ends of the spectrum. So I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to look at my sewing table and we're going to see how far I've gotten. So here you will see why I was afraid of of this project. There's, I don't know, about 12 pattern pieces here that had to be cut. And some of these are for the lining, so you had to cut, you know, for the fabric, you had to use these pieces twice and cut one for the main fabric and one for the lining fabric. And some of these pieces are for, they're for interfacing, which I'll show you what that is. But you can see all these pieces and keeping everything straight was kind of a daunting task, especially for the way my brain functions. Okay, let's see where I am so far. Now, this fabric I have chosen, I didn't buy any special new fabric. I used fabric that I had in my stash. In fact, this is leftover fabric and I had quite a bit of it. I had made a dress, and this is a cotton linen blend. It might have a little bit of polyester in it, I'm not sure, but it's mostly linen. And because we are heading, you know, here I live in Texas, I wanted a light blazer, nothing out of wool or anything, because yeah, no. Not this time of year. So I wanted to make it out of, this is like my practice blazer. And if it turns out fine, you know, I'm going to buy some higher quality fabric or something in a really cool print or color that I love once I get fitting issues. But I think I'm going to be okay with the fitting so far. But as you can see, this is the inside of it. Now this is going to have a lining, which I'm going to show you. But you see the white part right here? This is what's called interfacing, and you have to use two kinds, a knit interfacing and a woven interfacing. So this is the guts of the inside of a blazer. I've got the undercollar here sewed on. And this blazer has some patch pockets. And it's just going to have one button that's going to go on here. Well, yeah. you see these little dots? Okay, this is where the buttonhole's gonna be, and this is where the button's gonna be. But yeah, 2 patch pockets, and here's the back of it. So far, so good, right? Well, where I ran into trouble was in the construction of the lining. Here is the lining. And this part is the front part that's gonna go on the inside. It's called a facing. And of course, you make the lining out of this very slinky, silky fabric. This is I believe it's called a Bremberg rayon. Some linings in some top quality blazers are made of silk, and it's something I would like to do, but like I said, this is a practice blazer. So because it's a practice, I'm not gonna spend a lot of money on it. I'm gonna, I did have to buy this lining fabric because I didn't have any on hand because I've never done anything with a lining. Yes, this is my first item of clothing that I've sewed with a lining, so I'm learning some techniques. But working with this slinky fabric, it slides all over the place. I've had to re-pick things, and it's a little bit of a nightmare. And then I remembered. My sewing machine comes with a walking foot. Now this is exactly what you need to sew with slinky fabric such as a silk, a rayon, a slinky slippery knit, and light bulb. I just remembered, and this did help a lot because it helps feed the slinky fabric more evenly through the machine, so it's not sliding around so much. But the other thing that I had trouble with was getting the sleeves right. Now, predominantly with this right sleeve, inserting this right sleeve, because I had not paid attention and I had cut the pieces wrong, and I got all turned around and I had to pick it apart 3 times, and I had to try it 3 times before I finally figured out what the problem was. I got really frustrated with it, so I had to leave it and step away for 2 or 3 days. Quite honestly. Here's the back of the blazer, and you're probably thinking, oh Bonnie, why does this have a hole in the back? What are you gonna do with that hole? Well, this is gonna come into play when you start assembling the blazer, and you're gonna have to turn one part inside out or the right side out. And yeah, it's supposed to be like this. So this week, I hope to finish this project this week. I'm gonna have a finished blazer, and I will definitely be showing it to you when I finish. But right now, I'm gonna share and show you some sewing goals that I have. Oh, this is the Merchant & Mills sewing workbook. Now, Merchant & Mills is a British sewing pattern and fabric company. They have wonderful patterns, and they have the best high quality fabrics with wools and linens and organic cottons. And my goal is to purchase some of their high-end fabrics when I get to that point, when I'm going to make my blazer that I know that's going to fit. So let's open this up a little bit. Now I'm working on an unstructured blazer, but maybe after I work on this one and get the fitting right on the one I'm working on now, the goal is I want to make this Merchant & Mills, I believe it's called the Harrimer blazer. They have, it looks like it's constructed different, but it's still got that modern, slouchy kind of grandpa. You went to the thrift store and picked it up. Super, super stylish, but without, the smell, the mothball smell. I love this styling. I love this blazer. And here is the construction, the pieces, and making it out of a tweed like this would be the ultimate goal for me. I think this is totally my aesthetic. I love this. As far as my style, I would say that in the winter and colder months, I tend to go with kind of a tomboy menswear with a little bit of a feminine edge. But then in the warmer months, I'm more girly. I'm much more into skirts and dresses, just because it's so hot and you want to wear the least amount of clothes as possible. But for the warmer months, for the colder months, this look is totally my aesthetic. You can make a longer jacket or the shorter blazer, and they're using a little bit different construction techniques than the blazer I'm working on now. And their instructions are pretty sparse. So I want to get a lot of practice in before I start working on this one. But see how they're lining? The whole blazer isn't lined. They do a different, it looks a little more couture. It's really interesting what they do with their lining. So this jacket, this blazer or in coat form is definitely goals, and that's what I'm sort of working towards. And then somewhere along the line, I would like to make an uber fitted for me blazer, kind of along these lines. Now you see there's a little bit of a shoulder pad here. Not like 80s shoulder pad, but you can tell this is gonna have some, is it princess seams or darts? Something making it a little bit more fitted. So I'm gonna move from where, the blazer I'm working on now to that Merchant and Mills one, and then maybe towards the end of the year when we are getting into the cooler months. The other goal I have for my sewing is to make some wonderful trousers, and these trousers in particular, I love the styling of these trousers. And there's you can make the trousers in long pants. You could also make these as shorts. Now again, she's wearing the same outfit here that she's wearing in this blazer picture. And I would love to make myself an outfit like this. Now, the way things are, you could probably, if you're good at thrifting, thrift yourself. If you don't sew, thrift yourself an outfit like this. It's totally doable, but because I sew, I want to try, to make it myself. This tank, I think it's made out of a Indian paper cotton or some kind of beautiful linen, but this pattern is in this book as well. But so far, because of fear, I haven't made any trousers. I have made jeans. So I'm hoping that'll help me. That experience will help me, but I think these are so beautiful and they are totally, totally my aesthetic. And again, goals. This is a great look at the tailoring on the inside, the construction on the inside of the pant, and I'm so all over this. I think it's beautiful, and I'm hoping I can work my way up. I have a couple of PDF patterns that I'm hoping will kind of edge me towards these. As far as sewing, the third goal I have is to make myself a coat. So I'm hoping after practicing on some blazers that I will be able to make myself an overcoat. I think I might start with this one. There's no fastenings, but of course there is a lining. And again, you can see there's a lot of pieces. It's gonna be, the blazer thing all over again, but hopefully I'll have the background and I'll be able to be successful. Here's another possibility. And this has a lot of options, a short kind of blazer length, and then some longer options, and then towards a full length overcoat. And I think this is something kind of in a boucle or a wool, a nice wool, or a tweed. it would just be awesome. This is another possibility as well. I really like the cuffs on this one. So yes, these are some of my goals, my sewing goals that I want to accomplish, or at least, you know, if I don't accomplish all of them by the end of the year, it's no biggie. Just that I'm heading in that direction, that I'm moving forward and not letting fear hold me back, as it very much has in many aspects of my life. As you know, if you've been on my channel long enough, you know that I recently turned 55. I am now officially a senior citizen. So most of the years that I have on the planet are behind me. At this point, I have no idea how many more years I have. None of us do. But you can say, as a woman of my age, you know, you can definitely say that most of my life has been lived. It's behind me now. So whether I have 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, you know, what do I want to let fear keep holding me back from the things that I want to accomplish? Do I want to use fear as a cop-out and falling back on, you know, old habits, thinking I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, that I can't do it, that I'm stupid? Yeah, I don't want to fall back onto those old habits. I want to move forward. And I may not accomplish everything, but I have no idea how many good years I have left, where my eyesight is good, where I'm fully mobile, where, you know, I have dexterity in my hands and my fingers. I want to use the time to do those things that I want to accomplish, and I may not be successful, and that's okay. They may not be done to my desires, and that's okay, but I want to try and not let fear hold me back. Let me know in the comments below if fear or something else has held you back from trying something you've always wanted to try. And let's make a pact here and now that we're just going to do those things. Whether you want to learn to sew, whether it's if you want to learn to bake, if you want to learn to watercolor, if you want to learn to ski, if you want to, whatever it is, if you want to learn, if you want to climb that mountain, whatever it is. Now let's make a pact here and now, whatever it is you want to accomplish. Let's make a pact that we're not going to let fear hold us back. Okay, y'all, it's a different day. It's May 1st, and I finished the blazer. Here it is. It looks awfully big, doesn't it? It's a size small, but as I said before, it's supposed to be an oversized blazer. And I just found a button in my stash that was close to the size they asked for. I think, you know, next time I'll go a little bit bigger. It asks for a 3/4 to an inch button. I think that's a little bit less. It may be about 3/4. But look at those pockets. I'm sorry if I'm going to shake the phone, but I think I did a pretty good job. Oh my gosh. If I do say so myself. And I'm going to go up a little bit. There's the collar. You're going to see a couple of marks right here. That was for marking. I have to wet it because it is disappearing ink. But there we go. I'm going to open it up so you can see the inside of it. You fully lined. I did it. I did it, y'all. I have tried it on. It is a little bit on the big side, but I don't mind it. If I do mind it, my sister will gladly take it off my hands. I think going forward, I think I am going to make an extra small of this jacket. Next time. The only part that I'm kind of hesitant would be the shoulders, because I'm I'm a bit broad in the shoulders, but everywhere else I can go to an extra small, or I could take in, you know, this part instead of a 3/8 seam allowance, maybe do it 5/8. The pattern didn't have any shortening lines in it, only on the sleeves, but not in the body. And so I didn't shorten it. I just made it as is, because yes, this is meant to be a wearable toile or muslin, kind of a practice edition for next time. So I think I am going to make it in an extra small and shorten it in the body a little bit. Okay, so here we are, and you can see that the lining is fully in. Yeah, like I said, it's like making two blazers, and this lining fabric was so super slippery, so it gave me a little bit of trouble. All right, so couldn't get my husband to film the footage, so I'm here in my bathroom. Sorry if it's very echoey, and it's not matching with the outfit I'm wearing today. By the way, I did make this skirt, but this pattern is made for somebody who's 5'6", at least 5'6", and I am 5'4". So you can see it is a bit more oversized than I wear it, though I know it's really in style to wear a super oversized blazer. So yeah, I'm about 2 inches shorter than what the pattern is intended to. So I'm definitely going to shorten the body of it next time. And do you see how wide it is? I think I can definitely go for an extra small, but I'm actually really digging it. How it turned out. So I know what to do next time. I don't know if I'm going to keep this. I may send it on to my sister. My sister is like 5'7", 5'8", so I know that this would probably suit her better, but it's a nice linen jacket with a nice lining in it, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited. Now I know what to do next time to make one a little bit more tailored to my body. And while we're here on the first day of May, it's Me Made May, hashtag Me Made May on Instagram. So for everybody who sews, May is a month where we show off things that we've made, and I made this skirt a few years ago. I think it's the Clio skirt, and the pattern company is Made by Ray. There's pockets, and you can kind of see. So it's got a flat front waistband, and then on the back you've got elastic. So it's really flexible. And the good thing about this is that, you get the clean front, but then you get the, the stretchiness in the back. So if you go up a couple of pounds or down a couple of pounds, the skirt is still gonna fit, which is something that is really nice. So yeah, I made this skirt a few years ago and I still love it. It's made from a cotton lawn, and I really love it. So the first wear of Me Made May. So that is all I have for you today. Let me know in the comments below what goals you have set, goals you have set at the beginning of the year, and let me know if you've started working on a specific goal or goals. How are you doing? If you like this sort of content, please let me know in the comment section below, or by hitting a like, a subscribe, all of which helps this very small channel to grow. And with that, I will leave you to get on with your beautiful day. Bye for now.